Chapter 4. Stop the train. The next day, the children woke up early. They wanted to know more about the strange man. "Mother, what happened to him?" asked Phyllis. "Yes, please tell us," asked Bobby. So Mother told them. "Well, you know he's a writer. He wrote a beautiful book about poor people and how to help them. In Russia, he went to prison for it. Sometimes people go to prison for the wrong reason. He was in prison for 3 years. When he left, he wanted to find his family, but he couldn't find them. He left Russia, and now he's looking for his family here." "Oh, that's very sad," said Bobby. "Yes, it is," said Mother. "Just think, he wasn't guilty of anything." The next day, the Russian man was better. The children stayed at home for 3 days. They wanted to help him. After 3 days, they also wanted something else. They really wanted to go to the railway again. "We can go and find some fruit for him. That will be a nice surprise," said Bobby. "Yes," said Peter. "There's lots of fruit near the tunnel." They went down the hill. When they were near the tunnel, Peter was very happy. "We can watch the trains and we can work at the same time," he said. Then the children heard a noise. It was a very big tree. Look at that tree. It's fallen," said Bobby. Then the tree fell on the track. "Oh no," said Bobby. "This is very dangerous. A train is coming soon, and the tree is on the track." "What can we do?" asked Peter. "The 11:29 train is arriving soon. We have to go to the station to tell somebody." "There's no time," said Bobby. "It's 11:00. "We need something red," said Peter. "Then we can use it to wave at the train before it arrives here. Phyllis, Bobby, our coats are red. We can use them." "Good idea," said Bobby and Phyllis. The children waited at the other end of the tunnel. Soon they heard a noise. "It's coming, it's coming," said Peter. The children waved their coats at the train. "The driver can't see us," said Bobby. The train was near, and it was fast. "It's not stopping," said Bobby. "I'm going on the track. Then the driver can see me." "No, Bobby, it's too dangerous," said Phyllis. But it was too late. Bobby was on the track. "Stop, stop, stop," said Bobby. The train was very close now. Then the train slowly stopped, just in front of poor Bobby. The driver got off the train. Peter and Phyllis ran to the driver to tell him about the tree. "There's a tree on the track at the other end of the tunnel," said Peter. "Well, if it's true, you 3 children are heroes," said the driver. "But what about the girl on the track?" Bobby was still there. She was very frightened. "We have to take her home, poor girl." Soon everybody knew about the tree on the track. The children went back to the station. Everybody smiled and waved at them. They were not just the railway children now. They were the heroes from Three Chimneys. A few days later, a letter arrived. Dear Sir and Ladies, we want to thank you and the people on that train. Want to thank you. You children are heroes. We're having a party for you at 3 o'clock on the 30th of this month. The children wrote a letter. Thank you very much. We were very happy to help. It's very nice of you to have a party for us. See you there. The children washed their best clothes and they waited for the day. I'm very excited, said Peter. Me too, said Phyllis. The day arrived and they went to the party. It was at the station. There were flowers, a lot of food, and a lot of people. Lots of people came to thank the children. I was on that train, said one man. Thank you. You are heroes, said another man. The children looked for one special person. There he was, the old gentleman from the 9:15 train. He stood in front of the people, then he started to speak. I'd like to give something to these special children, he said. They did a great thing. Bobby, Peter, and Phyllis, you're the heroes from Three Chimneys, and we're all very happy to know you. Then he gave each of the children a watch, a beautiful gold watch. Peter, say something, said Bobby. You're very kind, said Peter. It was nothing, really. It was very exciting. Well, what I want to say is, thank you very much. It was a great party. The children enjoyed every minute of this special day. They were ready to go home. Then Bobby had an idea. She spoke to the old gentleman. I want to ask you something, she said. Then Bobby told him about the Russian man. Where are his wife and children? He's very sad. Maybe you can find some information to help him. You're so clever. What's his name? Asked the old gentleman. Bobby wrote the name on a piece of paper. Szezzcpansky. The old gentleman looked at the name. I know one of his books, he said. I read it 2 or 3 years ago. I'm very happy you asked me about him. I know a lot of Russians in London. Every Russian knows his name. I can try to get some information. Now tell me about you. So Bobby told the old gentleman about London and about Three Chimneys and about many other things. 10 days later, the children heard a knock at the door. It was the old gentleman. Hello, he said. I have some good news. I know where the Russian man's wife and children are. Can I speak to him? Yes, that's wonderful. I'm so happy, said Bobby. The children were very curious. They waited and watched. They watched the old gentleman speaking to the Russian. Then they saw the Russian man put his hands on his face. At first he cried, but then he smiled. He smiled for a long time. "Well," said Bobby, "I'm so happy that his story has a happy ending." Chapter 5. The Big Secret. One day, Bobby made some tea for her mother. "Thank you," said Mother. "Bobby, do you think that Peter and Phyllis are forgetting their father?" "No," said Bobby. "Why?" "Because they don't talk about him now," said Mother. "We talk about him when you're not here. When you're at home, we don't say anything. We don't want you to be sad," said Bobby. "Bobby," said Mother, "something bad happened to us, to Father, when we left London. It's true, I'm very sad when I think of it. But you must never, never forget him." "Of course not, Mother," said Bobby. "Good," said Mother. "Your father can come home soon. Please don't speak to your brother and sister about our conversation." "I promise," said Bobby. That evening Mother told the children a story. She told them about their father when he was young. The story was very funny, and the children enjoyed it. "We must help Mother," thought Bobby. "We mustn't ask too many questions, because she gets sad. Where is Father? Where can he be?" Bobby was very worried. Soon she had something different to think about. The next day, Peter was ill. The doctor came to Three Chimneys. Peter had to stay in bed for a week. A week for a 10-year-old boy is a very long time. Peter didn't know what to do. Bobby was sad for her brother. "Is there anything I can do?" she thought. "He can't go out, but I can. I can go to the station and find some newspapers for him to read." So Bobby went to the station. "Hello, Bobby," said Perks. "How are you?" "I'm fine," said Bobby. "But Peter isn't very well. Do you have any newspapers I can take home?" "Yes, here are some," said Perks. "People always leave them on the train." So 10 minutes later, Bobby walked home. She had lots of newspapers, and she had to carry them up the hill. She looked at the newspapers. They were really heavy, but she was happy to help her brother. Then she saw something. "No? What's this?" she thought. "It can't be him, but it is." And then she started to read. "So now I know," she thought. What did Bobby read? And why was it so bad? These were some of the words she read. Prison, 5 years, guilty. And next to these words was a picture of her father. "I must try not to tell anybody, not even Mother," thought Bobby. When Bobby got home, Mother was in the kitchen. "What is it?" said Mother. "I know something is wrong. Your face is red." "Nothing," said Bobby. "I'm tired." Bobby went to her bedroom. She put the newspaper under her bed. Soon it was time for dinner. The children sat at the table with their mother. They did this every day. But something was different today. Usually Bobby spoke a lot, but today she didn't say anything. After dinner, Mother spoke to Bobby again. "There's something wrong. Why aren't you speaking? Why are you sad? What is it? Tell me now." Bobby didn't say anything. She just took the newspaper from under her bed and gave it to her mother. All Bobby could say was, "Read, read." Bobby's mother read the newspaper. "Oh, Bobby," said Mother, "do you believe it? You don't, do you?" "No," said Bobby. "Good," said Mother, "because it's not true. Your father is in prison, but he didn't do anything wrong. He's not guilty. He's a good man. Please don't tell the others," said Bobby's mother. "Of course not," said Bobby. "We mustn't tell anybody. It's our secret." "That's right," said Mother. "Now I want to tell you everything." Bobby sat on her bed and listened to the story. "The men who came to our house that night, the last time you saw Father, were policemen. They wanted your father. They asked about some letters. These letters were in Father's office. The letters had secrets in them, secrets that another country wanted. The policeman said this to your father: 'You are stealing secrets. You gave some letters to the Russians. It's true you're guilty. We found some more letters in your desk.'" "That's impossible," said Bobby. "Father loves his country. Somebody did it," said Mother. "The letters were in Father's desk. Someone put the letters there. Someone didn't like Father, and that's the guilty person." "Who was it? Who could do this?" asked Bobby. "There was a man, and he didn't like your father. He wanted Father's job. Now he's got it. Your father is very clever. This man didn't like him for this reason." "Can't we tell somebody about this?" "Nobody wants to listen," said Mother. "Well, I know a man, a very special man. He can help us," thought Bobby. That night, Bobby wrote a letter. She gave the letter and the newspaper to Perks at the station. "My dear friend, please read the newspaper. There's some news about my father. It's not true. Father never did it. He isn't guilty. Mother says it was another man. This man didn't like Father. This man now has Father's job. You're very clever. You found the Russian man's family. Can you help us again? Peter and Phyllis don't know anything. Please help us." "Bobby, who was the letter for?" "Well, I think you know. It was for an old gentleman who was always on the 9:15 train. It was difficult. It was very difficult. But Bobby didn't tell Peter and Phyllis about Father. Must just wait," thought Bobby. "My dear friend can help us. I know he can." Chapter 6. Home again one day. The children were on the hill. "Look," said Phyllis. "You can see the tunnel from here?" Then Phyllis saw another thing. "Can you see those boys near the tunnel? They're running. They're running into the tunnel. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 boys. I'm going to the other part of the hill, said Peter. I want to watch them come out. We want to come too, said Phyllis and Bobby. The 3 children went to the other part of the hill. After 5 minutes, the boys came out. Phyllis counted again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Where's number 6? He's not coming out. They didn't sit on the hill for long. They went into the tunnel to look for the boy. When you're on a train, a tunnel is exciting, and this was a very long tunnel. Walking in a tunnel isn't exciting. It's dark, it's dangerous, and there are rats. Can't we go to the station to ask for help? Said Phyllis. I don't like it in here. No, we have to look here now, said Bobby. We don't have much time. They looked everywhere. They had a candle, but it was very dark. Then they saw something. It was a boy. The children ran to him. Is he sleeping? Asked Phyllis. I don't know, said Peter. Speak to us. Say something. Wake up, said Peter. At that moment, the boy woke up. Who are you? He asked. We're from Three Chimneys, said Bobby. We're here to help. My leg. I can't walk, said the boy. Try, said Peter. I can't, said the boy. I have to sit down. I want to stay with him, said Bobby. I have the candle. Go and find someone who can help before a train comes. Be quick. Remember, we only have one candle. Peter and Phyllis left. Bobby and the boy were alone. My name's Jim. Thank you for helping me. You're a hero. That's okay, said Bobby. Peter and Phyllis came out of the tunnel. That wasn't easy, said Peter. We have to find some help. Phyllis looked around. Look, said Phyllis. I can see a farm. Good. Run now, said Peter. They ran and soon arrived at a house. They knocked on the door and they heard a noise. There were people inside the house. The people went into the tunnel with Peter and Phyllis to get Bobby and Jim. Then they took Jim to Three Chimneys. Mother was very surprised. Mother, said Bobby, we have a boy. We found him in the tunnel. Let's get the doctor, said Mother. The doctor arrived and the children waited. He isn't too bad, said the doctor. He needs to rest. He must stay here for 3 weeks, and he mustn't go out. Peter was happy. How nice to have another boy in the house, he thought. The next day there was a knock at the door. I think that's the doctor, said Mother. Wait here, children. The children waited and listened. It was a man, but it wasn't the doctor. I know that voice, said Phyllis. Children, come here, said Mother. It's Jim's grandfather. The children went to meet the man. Who was this man? Well, it was the old gentleman. from the 9:15 train. Their friend, it was a lovely surprise to see him again. "Is Jim going home now?" asked Peter. "No, he needs to stay here. Your mother is very kind. You can all help Jim to get better." Soon the old gentleman had to leave. "Bobby, can you walk with me to the station?" he asked. Bobby and the old man went down the hill. "I read your letter," said the old man. "I'm trying to understand what happened to your father. Don't worry, I promise to have some news soon." "He didn't do anything bad," said Bobby. "I know that," said the old gentleman. Jim soon got better. He was a nice boy. Everybody liked him. But the children were sad. They wanted to see father again. "Something good is about to happen. I know it," said Phyllis. Phyllis was right. Something very good happened. The next morning the children woke up early. "Do you know," said Phyllis, "that we never wave at the 9:15 train now?" "You're right," said Bobby. "We can go this morning if you want." "Yes, good idea," said Peter and Phyllis. Soon they were near the tunnel, ready to wave. The train went by, and the old gentleman waved. That was normal. He always did that, but this time something was different. Everybody on the train waved, and all of them had a newspaper in their hand. "Well," said Bobby. "Well," said Peter. "Well," said Phyllis. "What does this mean?" The children didn't know. They had to go home. They had their schoolwork to do. But Bobby couldn't read or write anything. She thought about the train. "Mother, can I go for a walk? I don't want to study today. I want to be alone." Bobby went into the garden, but she couldn't stay there. Something was strange. She had to go to the station now. When she arrived, she saw Perks. "Hello, Perks," she said. "Hello, Bobby," said Perks. He had a newspaper in his hand too. "Why does everybody have a newspaper?" thought Bobby. "I'm very happy for you on this important day," said Perks. "Why is it important?" asked Bobby. "But don't you know?" asked Perks. "It's in the newspaper." "What's in the newspaper?" asked Bobby. At that moment, the 11:54 train arrived. Perks went to the platform. "What's happening today?" thought Bobby. Only 3 people got off the 11:54 train. On the platform, there was a young woman and a young man, and the other person was, well, you know, don't you? Oh, Daddy. "My Daddy," was all you could hear. All you could see was a tall, slim man with a little girl in his arms. "I knew it. I knew it," said Bobby. Bobby and her father went home. "Did your mother read my letter? Did she read the newspaper?" "No, she doesn't know anything," said Bobby. "Go inside the house alone," said father. Tell her that I'm home and that the other man did those bad things. It wasn't me. This is all thanks to the old gentleman on the 9:15 train." Bobby went inside, and Father waited. After 5 minutes, he knocked on the door to come back home to the family he loved very much.